Hey there! In this video I'm going to show you how to create a dynamic monthly calendar in Google Sheets. It's dynamic in that you can enter a month and year of your choice and it will update the calendar to reflect that month for you. So in this example I'll change March 2019 to April 2019 and you'll see that it updates the calendar to reflect your chosen month and year. I'll do that again here and create a tab for May 2019, and it will also show you that you can also enter not just the name of the month, but you can go number / year, and again I get a new calendar for this month. You can also take all the months of the year and stack them as I've done here for the 2019 tab. And I find that this is an easy way to view the year and all its events, whether it's kids' birthdays or kids' sporting events or financial events. Whatever you want to put in the calendar, this makes it quite easy. I expect this video to be fairly lengthy because I'll be going step by step and explaining the method and rationale behind various cells and some of the formulas I've used. So if you want to bypass that, feel free to go to the provided link in the description, which will bring you to a completed Google Sheets document. You're welcome to copy it into your own document and modify it to your heart's content. So without further ado, let me show you how it's done. So we'll start with a blank Google Sheets document. I find the easiest way is to type sheets.new in the address bar, and then we're prompted with a clean Google Docs or Google Sheets document. I'll start by deleting columns H through Z, simply because we won't be using them. And that's column Z for you Americans. I'm Canadian, so it's called Z. This leaves us with columns A through G, so 7 columns for the 7 days of the week. Alright, so starting from cell A1, we're going to type a month and year. So let's do January 2019. And what you'll see is that Google Sheets inserts a date, so January 1st, 2019 in this cell. However, the formatting will be month and then year. It's also worth noting that I can now update this by simply typing my month and year. I can even go numeric month / year, and it will preserve the formatting that I had entered. But you just have to be careful that you don't go, say, month / 2-digit year, because what will happen is it'll look okay, but it actually stores March 19th, 2019, which is not what we want. This will actually throw off our entire calendar. So make sure you specify the 4-digit year if you're going to do it that way. I'll just leave March 2019, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all 7 columns in this row and merge the cells together. And then I will center justify or center align the text, and this becomes my title. I'm going to increase the font size to 24 and make this bold, and now this becomes the caption or title for this calendar. We'll also be leveraging the fact that it puts in March 1st, 2019 for the rest of the calendar, for calculating all the cells. Okay, let's put in the header for the columns, better known as the day of the week. I could go ahead and type the days of the week here like this, but why do this when Google Sheets will do it for me? Of course, with a little bit of sophistication, I can do it in such a way that it is language agnostic and will use the language that's specific to the region or locale where you're located. There's a function called text which will format text in various ways. The one I'll use is called DDDD, which is the day of the week, and you can see here in the tooltip, 1 translates to Sunday, 2 translates to Monday, and so on. So the other thing I will leverage is a function called column. So wherever you're situated in column B, this would return 2, column A, this would return 1, and I'll leverage that in this formula, so I can go, depending on which column, give me the day of the week. I'll take this, copy it, and paste it across this row, and you'll see that I'm letting Google Sheets do all the work now. I'm going to change the font to bold and center align the text, increase the font size a little bit here, and I'll even add a little bit of shading. Let's do that one there. Okay, so now we've got the days of the week. The next thing we need to do is determine what day of the week the first of this month and year falls on. So for March 1st, 2019, what day of the week does it fall on? Here's a little trick, just as a little cheat. Double click on the date here, and we'll see March 1st started on a Friday. So that's just for information here. I'm going to use a function called weekday, and if I reference the date in A1, right, March 1st, you can see the little tooltip here tells me it starts on the 6th day, which translates to Friday. So what I'm trying to do is determine where to put the number 1, the first day of the month, and that would be Friday. But for this to be generic, I'm going to change this formula in the Sunday cell to an if statement. I'll say if the weekday that the first day of the month starts on is equal to the column that we're in other words Sunday, then display a number 1, otherwise we'll display a blank. So I've put that formula in here, it shows a blank, so March 1st, 2019 does not start on a Sunday. Okay, great. I'm going to paste this across the row and show you that, okay, it worked out properly for Friday, but not Saturday. As it turns out, well, Saturday is not the first day, therefore this if condition is false, and it put a blank. What we want it to do is actually to look at the previous day, so the Friday, and see if there's a number. If there's a number, then just increment it by 1. If there's no number, then display a blank. So we're going to replace this with another if conditional, and our check here will be whether there was a number in the previous day. To do that, I'm going to use the absolute function. Simply says if there was a value in F4 that's say greater than 0, then we're going to take F4, add 1, and otherwise we'll leave it as a blank. So that works for this. We're actually going to paste it for Monday through Friday, and that will work just as well. Why didn't we paste it into Sunday? Well, because Sunday doesn't have a previous day on this calendar to look back at, so it's either going to be a 1 or a blank. Okay, I'm going to highlight this row and just boldface the text. I'm also going to right align everything, even though it's already right aligned, but I'll just force it. I'm going to skip the odd numbered rows because we'll reserve those for the event text. So I'll go to row 6 and we'll continue our numbering. Now you might think that I can simply look at the previous Saturday and add 1 to that, and that would generally work, but But let's say the last day of the month was on the Saturday. So for example, it was 31 for March. You don't want to add 1 to that and get 32. You would simply want it to be blank. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something here. I'm going to use the March 1st 2019 date that happens to be in cell A1, and I'm going to add the previous Saturday's day, and that will give us, in this case, March 3rd. And I only care about the 3 in the March 3rd here. So I want to extract the day. So we use the function day to achieve that. And I'm going to go A1, which is March 1st, 2019 in this example, and add G4, which is this previous Saturday. And this will give me 3. Now for Monday, I want to do similarly. I'll go function day, reference A1. I'm going to add the previous day, which happens to live in A6. And this will give me 4. Now, remember I said that we need to put in some logic to make sure we don't go past the last day of the month. So, for example, if this was 31, by using that math, I suddenly get myself into April 1st, April 2nd, and so on. Right? We actually want to display blanks here. So, what I'm going to also do here is say, if this expression is greater than 1, so we don't want it to be 1. If it's greater than 1, then we'll use that expression. If it's equal to 1, then we'll put a blank, and that will automatically fix everything after it. So same thing here. I'm going to say if this expression is greater than 1, then we'll keep it the same, otherwise it's going to be a blank. So what that does is, if this happened to be the last day of the month, these ones blank out. Right. If this was 30, March has 31 days, this will display, and then the next one will be blank. Right, so I'm just undoing my change there. I can take my Monday and paste it across to Saturday, and as you can see, those are correct. Again, I'm going to highlight this row, change the font to bold, and ensure that it is right aligned, even though it already is. And I'm going to copy this row and paste it into the next even numbered row, and you're going to see a problem here. When I do so, I get an illegal reference here, or a reference that doesn't make sense, I should say. And that was because we referenced A1 before, and now we've pasted it 2 rows in advance, so it's adjusted these relative references for us. And I'm going to have to manually refer back to A1. Now the reason I did it in this way instead of using fixed references is that I wanted the calendar to be able to adapt to being pasted in subsequent rows. So I can copy the entire calendar once it's complete into higher numbered rows and have it all work. And so the price to achieve that is a little bit more work at the beginning here. So please bear with me as I make the corrections. Fortunately, we just have to do this once, and then in the future we'll have this dynamic calculator calendar that just adjusts. Okay, one more. So this is where we'll see a little bit of the magic that we put in that now in this cell it should be a blank, and so should these ones. Okay, so that's essentially our calendar. We can test it out. So April 1st, 2019 should land on a Monday, as we could see here, and we can test that out. And it does. And then May 1st, 2019 should land on a Wednesday, according to this. So again, we do it. May 1st is on Wednesday, and the last day lands on a Friday, so June 1st should be on a Saturday. And that works as well. So there it is. The calendar is basically done. We're going to do some cleaning up and some decorations. Some people like to leave a few extra rows at the bottom here for notes and whatnot. I'm just going to go ahead and delete rows 17 to 1000 just to get those out of the way. That was an unnecessary step, but I just want to keep things clean. Okay, let's beautify this. We can add some borders. So I'm putting a border around the days of the week, and then what I'm going to do is for each day of the calendar, I'm just going to draw a box around the day part as well as the text, the description of the event. So I'll do this. Here, let me show you this first. I'm going to customize the look of the data here. So let's say that we have doctor's appointment. Let's say you don't want it bottom justified. You can customize that at this point. If you don't want left justification or alignment, you can adjust that. The only thing I'll do here is reduce the font size, and otherwise that's how I want my appointments or my events to show up. I'm going to delete the doctor's appointment here so that it doesn't show up in every cell, but what I'm going to do is copy this, and then I'm going to do the paste special and paste the format. Alright, so I'm going to have to adjust the cell sizes here, the heights, so I'm going to select all my odd numbered rows and make the size adjustment. I'm going to make them a little bit smaller than I normally would just to fit everything onto the screen here. Okay, so what that achieves is I can go into any of these cells now and type in my whatever, and it should honor the formatting that I decided previously. Okay, in my previous example I also did some shading, so all the unpopulated cells I shaded with the light background, and I'll show you how that was done. Basically I want to look at the day cell here and see if there's a number. If there's no number, then we'll shade it. For the cell below it, we'll use the same formula. We'll look at the cell above, see if there's a number. If there's no number, then we'll shade it. So to do that, I'm going to have to reveal the menu, which I hid before to give us a little bit more screen real estate. It's under Format and then Conditional Formatting, and I'm already on cell A4. I'm going to change this to custom formula, and the formula I'll use is I'll use the absolute value again. I'll say if the absolute value of whatever is in A4 is 0, so it's not a number, then we'll shade it with this light blue here. And we'll say done. We're going to now go to this cell, add a rule, and it applies to A5. We'll also select custom formula, and in the formula we go absolute value of A4, which is the one above where I am now, A5. If it is not a number, then we'll shade it. Okay, so that seems to work. I can then copy what's here and actually paste it into all cells, as long as I go paste special, paste conditional formatting only, and just to give myself some space, I'm going to hide the menu now, and there it is. So let's give this another test, and there you go. We're done. If you want to stack these like I did in my earlier example, you can highlight all. We're going to have to add some rows here. Let's add a few, enough for one calendar. Okay, so you'll copy, paste, change the date. Here, I'll scroll up. August 2019. Right, and everything dynamically updates, and then you can stack a whole bunch of these as necessary. But there you go, a dynamic monthly calendar in Google Sheets. Thanks for watching.